Well, Betty, I don't want to leave Florence. I want to stay here for a while. I think this is a beautiful city.
I think it is too. My grandson thought the same thing. He stayed there for a whole year going to school.
A year?
Yes, wasn't he fortunate?
Wow, I guess, yeah. Well, there's all sorts of things going on. I mean, Florence, of course, is noted for all the artwork. That's a guy.
Oh, I don't
Would you
believe
believe
it.
Yes, it is. Yeah, the one on the right-hand side. I had to take a picture of that. And something else I want to take a picture is things that were happening in the water. I don't know for sure. I know those are ducks. But I think...
Congratulations.
Huh?
Congratulations.
Do I get an A for that?
Yeah,
so
you
far?
get an A. Now tell me about the animal.
Okay, I don't know. I'm not sure about the animal. I think it's a muskrat. He was a big sucker. I mean, I looked at this thing. I thought, hey, look, there's a beaver.
There's
And I
a little
thought,
baby
no,
one
that's
in
not a beaver.
back. There were two of them there, weren't there?
I don't know. There were 2 or 3 of them around there. I think
okay.
this guy had a family that was around there somewhere. Anyway, I thought it was kind of interesting. I want to see what he was going to do, but he didn't do very much. So he just he didn't even chase the ducks. I thought we have a little excitement here, but the ducks.
But see, they're not afraid of them.
No, not
Didn't
at
seem
all.
to be evident. Maybe they don't eat meat.
Coexisted.
Maybe they just eat fish.
Or maybe just weeds. I don't know. Whatever muskrats.
Oh, you like those? So there's
that guy
another
found
one,
it.
huh?
Well, he found himself
Look like
a home there.
the tail looks like a rat.
It does. That's why I think
Yeah.
it's a muskrat. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, we walked on the other side of the river, and as you can see, that there's some control areas right here. So, because we know that it had flooded before in Florence, and I don't know if they put in some safeguards now or not. Of course, I think our guide told us on the last program that the reason it flooded because they just let too much water down all at one time.
The reason it flooded was because they didn't give a dam.
Well, now that they've got a small one.
Now wait a
got
minute.
it.
Did you get it? Did you get it?
I
mean,
got it.
I didn't use it as a swearing
they
kind
built a
of
new
thing.
one.
They didn't. They wouldn't give the money to give a dam. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I
got
thought
it.
I'd better explain that for our viewers.
Yeah, Anyway, we're going to get up on one of the hills on the other side of the river so that we can take a really good look at the city of Florence from a little bit of a distance.
I had not realized it was so large. When you're down
Big
in
city.
the environs there, you don't, you don't have any idea of how it stretches out. Of course, that's true with anything, huh?
Well, I think so too. And of course, what we were visiting was, pretty much the medieval area there. I mean, the old, what we would call the old town, I guess.
Now that's the Duomo, right?
And you can see that. Yeah, I believe so. And then you can see that other tower there, right in the center of the screen. That's the town hall tower, of course, that you can see. And there again is the river and the covered bridge that we liked so much. It was so beautiful. Anyway, I think the architecture here is so fantastic. I can see why people from all over the world have to put Venice on their itinerary when they go to Italy.
Venice?
Oh, did I say Venice?
You said Venice.
Oh, well,
that's
I
all right.
was
You're
thinking
still
about Venice.
you're
Yeah,
still
I'm
stoned.
still in
You're
Venice.
still struck with Venice. I
Okay.
know because we're going to do it again.
That's true. Okay, but the Florence and Venice. Okay,
Fine.
yeah.
That's right.
Okay, but now we're going to.
We missed David there. Did you see gorgeous David?
Well, he's everywhere. But that's not the real one. Those
Oh,
are
of
just
course not.
copies
He
of
wouldn't
him,
be outside.
Yeah.
Although he was outside there for a while.
For a while, but
yes,
now
he was.
moved. They moved him inside. Yeah, and it was interesting because when we did see the statue of David, the real one, you could see there were cracks there, and there was also a place that was broken. But anyway, you can't take pictures of. Hey, there you go, Pizza Man. He delivers. How about that?
Isn't that cute? Huh? Wow.
Of course, that's where you're going to think of it. Do you think that they deliver pizza in Florence?
Well, no. Look, we went in here
We
to
went into a
eat.
restaurant.
Yeah, to a El Gourmet. I'll
How
have
about
you know.
that?
I probably got a bowl of soup, and you all had something good.
No, you had pasta.
Did I eat pasta?
We all had pasta.
Oh, I
Sure,
did.
look, yeah.
Look at that.
Uh-huh.
Oh, this food is good. I just think that's good.
Oh, it's always good.
But then I eat a lot of pasta at home.
Do you?
Oh, yeah. Well, I live alone. It's easy just to boil some noodles.
But you never gain any weight. How do you do that?
Well, I walk after I eat.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good way to do it, I guess. Anyway, we're going to go to Siena, and so we'll take a left-hand turn right here. But on the way down to Siena, I wanted to take pictures because there are beautiful homes and villas and monasteries and all sorts of buildings on these cliffs that we can see, besides the farmland that we see here, too. And it's just, the drive is absolutely beautiful. Didn't you think so, Betty?
Yeah, and I think about what it must have looked like before they went into it with these highways, because it always detracts from the area around it. But when you look off in the distance, you get the overall view, don't you? It is beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Oh, I
It really
think
is.
to travel in Europe is such an experience. I wish that everybody could have the opportunity to do it. You do appreciate your own homeland, though, when you
Sure,
get
of
home.
course you do.
So it isn't a question of comparing the United States with Europe. It's just getting a good insight of how other people and other cultures live.
And you know, I think people should do that when they can do that. A lot of people want to put that off for so long, and then something happens, and then they can't go.
I know. I tell them, don't wait. As long as you're healthy now,
Right.
even if you have to put it on a visa or take and go, borrow the money,
Put it
then
on your
pay
plastic,
it back.
right.
Pay
Yeah.
it back. A month at a time, and
Sure.
you'll never regret it.
No, that's very true.
I don't.
Yes.
I work for the visa company. Not really.
Ah, anyway, we're now in Siena, and
Well,
as you
excuse
can
me.
see,
What was that? St. Teresa of Calcutta.
Yeah, that was a plaza. That was
for
named
her.
after her.
Named after her. How
right.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't
These
remember
flags have a very definite purpose that we're going to see. In fact, our guide's going to tell us about why we see the flags, because they identify various areas within the city. And let's listen to her as she explains it to us.
Okay, so this is one of the main churches in Siena, along with the cathedral, dedicated to San Domenico, built between the end of the 13th century and the beginning of the 14th century. Siena is a medieval town, so the 13th and the first half of the 14th century was the period of its highest splendor. So the majority of the buildings here date back to the 13th, 14th century. Of course, many of them have been restored through centuries, but Siena is a medieval town. And in the early 13th century, two new religious orders were founded by St. Francis and St. Dominic. And these two new religious orders differed from the older monastic orders, because the Franciscans and the Dominicans didn't live shut away in monastery, but they spent much of their time in preaching. So for them it was very important to live in towns, cities, villages, and they needed a new kind of church, very large, to hold large congregations of believers. And at that time, in the Middle Ages, the Dominicans were not allowed to have personal properties or money, so they used to live on charity. And they built this large church thanks to the donations of the rich and noblemen of Siena. And have a look at these flags. These are the 17 districts of the town. Siena, within the medieval city walls, is divided into 17 districts called contrade. And the contrade in summer take part in a horse race in the main square. And in past time, in the Middle Ages, each district, each contrada, was a sort of military body with certain duties, such as the collection of taxes, the keeping of fountains and streets. And in case of war, each district, each contrada had to give a certain number of soldiers to the Sienese army. Of course, today the contrada are not military bodies anymore, are social organizations with a head office, the captain, a patron saint, and so on. So there are 17 of them within the medieval city walls. But this church is dedicated not only to San Domenico, but also to Santa Caterina da Siena, Saint Catherine of Siena. Saint Catherine was born in Siena in 1347, and she was the daughter of a rich merchant in the town. At that time, in the Middle Ages, Siena was a commercial center, a town of merchants, bankers, and moneylenders. But Saint Catherine, at the age of 13, she decided to enter the Dominican order of nuns because she wanted to dedicate herself to the care of the poor and the sick. And Saint Catherine played an important role in public life of her time because she exchanged letters with the rulers of all Europe and with the representatives of the church. Saint Catherine was illiterate, so she didn't know how to read and write, but she dictated the letters to her disciples. And she played an important role in public life also because in the 14th century, she was born in 1347 and she died in 1380 at the age of 33, the same age of Jesus. At that time, the Pope was not in Rome. The Pope was in South France, in Avignon, in exile. And Saint Catherine, after a journey of 2 weeks from Siena to South France and a stay of 4 months there, she managed to bring the papacy back to Rome. And so she used to come here in this church and pray every day. And in this church are kept the head of St. Catherine right in front of us. Can you see over there in front of us in the church? Yeah, the head of St. Catherine. over there. Can you see in front of us? And one finger is kept over there. Part of the town belongs to this contrada. This is one of the 17 districts of the contrada, and the symbol is a dragon. And each contrada has its own special day, its own festival. And tomorrow will be the special day for this contrada. So the followers of the contrada are going to parade along the streets of the town. And tomorrow evening there will be a huge dinner along the streets.
Well, I have to say that this medieval city is very, very exciting to me to take a look at. And the most exciting part, I think, is we're going to go down into the main square. And these little tiny streets, Betty, my goodness sakes, you'd be able to just get a horse and a buggy through there. That's about it, huh?
I love this. This is the part of traveling I like so much, the little narrow streets and cobblestones and people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so in front of you, this is the main street. In past time, in the Middle Ages, the street in front of you was part of the Francigena Way. The Francigena Way in the Middle Ages was the main road connecting Northern Europe with Rome. So pilgrims and merchants used to stop here in Siena during their journey to Rome. So this road was very important because, as I mentioned, Siena at that time was a commercial center, a town of merchants and bankers. And have a look at the sides of the square. There are two small coat of arms, yellow and, can you see yellow over there? And on the other side, black and white. These are two of the 17 districts of the town. So it means this part of the town on the left belongs to this contrada. On the other side, that part of the town belongs to a different contrada. And the part in front of us, another contrada, different one. So this is a sort of borderline, 3 of the 17 districts of the town. And this square and these buildings are the headquarters of the oldest banking institution in Italy, founded in 1472. This is the symbol of Rome, but this is the symbol of Siena as well, because the legend says that Siena is the daughter of Rome. Well, the legend says that Romulus killed his brother Remus because he wanted to be the king of Rome. But Remus had 2 sons, and they departed from Rome because they were afraid to be killed. And one of them, Senio, founded Siena. Of course, it's just a legend, but the town has always been so proud of that, to be the daughter of Rome. So you'll see the she-wolf with twins everywhere in the town. At the end of the tour, it will be impossible for you to forget that Siena is the daughter of Rome. So this is one of the symbols of the town.
Well, I think we've all seen the symbol of Rome before. Of
Romulus and Remus?
Yeah. And
Remus? Is it Romulus and Remus?
Right, right. And you see that all over here as we see. But the contrade that she was mentioning about, the flags that we see, that you'll see on some of these streets, very interesting. She's going to explain a little bit more as we get down toward the center of the old square, because they have a race there. I believe it's every year. Anyway, we're not quite there yet. It's going to take us a while to get there. You talking about how big Florence was. I was surprised at how big Siena was.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was just absolutely gorgeous.
It all seems like it's centered in one place, I mean, the city itself is, so that's why it all kind of crowded together.
Yeah, well, these doors are beautiful, too.
All the doors. They seem to have a thing about doors, didn't they, architecturally?
Yeah. And look at this is right on the floor of the inside the church itself. Anyway, we're going to listen to our guide again.
Here we are in the Piccolomini Library. The construction of the library was commissioned by Cardinal Francesco Piccolomini in 1492 in memory of his uncle, the Pope Pius II, who had died 28 years before, to house the large collection of books of the Pope himself. And as you see, the coat of arms of the family, the symbol of the family, is everywhere. In the floor, have a look up there, in the ceiling, and at the bottom of each column. So it's impossible to forget that this part of the church belonged to the Piccolomini family. And the cycle of frescoes was painted by Pinturicchio between 1502 and 1509, with stories from the life of Pius II, the Pope Pius II. The cycle of frescoes has never been restored, just cleaned. Wow. Just cleaned. So he was elected Pope in 1458 with the name of Pius II. Pius II had a plan. He wanted to create a new crusade to Jerusalem. But to create a new crusade to Jerusalem, he needed the help of the leaders of all Europe. And above all, he needed the help of the Venetian leaders. Because at that time, in the 15th century, Venice had the most powerful fleet in Europe. So right here in front of us, on the left, you see the Pope on the right, and he's trying to convince the Venetian leaders and the leaders of all Europe to help him to create a new crusade. But he failed, because no one wanted to help him. It was too dangerous and, above all, too expensive.
How about that? You know, you want to mount a war, but it was too expensive back in those days. How about that?
Well, that doesn't stop us today.
Yeah, I guess not. Hey, Betty, they were having a wedding at this church, and we got a chance to take a look at the bride real quick, and it was interesting.
It took 2 centuries with the cathedral. In 1339, the cathedral hadn't yet been completed, but the Sienese decided that this church was too small for the town. And they wanted to build a new one, larger than the previous one. So they started in 1339. This one in front of you should have been the entrance.
Oh, there's the bride. Well, she was going to continue on to say that church never did get built, and you know, it was going to be bigger than St. Peter's in Rome. So
fat chance.
Yeah. Now here we are at the main square.
This square, every year on the 2nd of July and on the 16th of August, a horse race called Palio takes place. Siena, within the medieval city walls, is divided into 17 districts called contrade, and the contrade take part in the horse race. So each horse represents a contrada. This is the picture of the square during the horse race. And the horses go 3 times round the square. They put dirt on the track, and all the jockeys ride bareback, which is quite hard because, as you see, the track is narrow and there are 2 sharp bends over there and on the other side. And because the track is dangerous, very often some of the jockeys fall off. However, if a horse comes in first without its jockey, it still wins. So a horse may also win without its jockey. In 1555, Siena lost its independence and became part of the Florentine estate. Have you been to Florence? Yeah. Can you recognize the coat of arms right in front of us with 6 bolts? Right in front of us, the huge coat of arms. This is the coat of arms of the Medici family, Florence. So when Siena became part of the Florentine estate, the Medici wanted to show off their power in the town. So the Sienese didn't like it. Well, I think they don't like it still today. There's a friendly competition between Siena and Florence still today. And membership in one of the 17 districts, one of the 17 contrada, is dependent upon one's geographical place of birth. I mean, if I were born in that street, for instance, I would be a member of that contrada, that district. If I were born in the street over there, I would be a member of the different contrada. It doesn't matter if I move to a different part of the town. If you, yeah, sure, but you can't change contrada. If you belong to a contrada, it's forever. You are not allowed to change, even if you want.
She also told us about the contrada that they have a baptism. Now, this is not a religious ceremony, but the president or the chief or whoever of the local contrada, if you're born on that street, and then they do a baptism, a secular one, so that you're there for life. That is, like you were saying, you can't change even if you.
I wondered if I forget what she said. If you married somebody from the other contrada, did like a wife, does she have to take his?
No, can't do that.
Can't do that.
Can't do that. So you may have 2 in the same. In the same family or different ones. That's what I understand.
Good for a split up.
She said that this race lasts about 2 or 3 minutes, and thousands of people that come there. What it was so interesting, and I don't know if everybody understood her, but she said, even if the jockey falls off of the horse and the horse goes on without the jockey and crosses the finish line first, that's the winner, regardless of whether the jockey was there or not.
That ain't the way it's done here, is it? Huh? No,
Anyways,
sir.
it's just very interesting.
Now there's St. Catherine's.
Yeah, this was the Church of St. Catherine here. We had a mass there that day as well, but we went in to see this area as well all around. It was just very, very beautiful here. There was just so much to see, and there's a statue of St. Catherine here in this church. And from the church, we take a look at through part of the rest of this medieval town that you can see here. And you can see we're a little ways away from the main square, because that's where that big tower is over there. But I thought it was so interesting, and I just, I'm crazy for all this architecture anyway, so I've got to get lots of shots of that. And the church itself right there.
Well, I think that's part of the business of traveling. I mean, that's the educational part of the traveling, to see the different kinds of architecture. And
speaking of traveling, we're back on the bus again, and we're going to leave Siena now. We're going to head south in Italy, and as we go south, we've traveled quite a ways right now. If you take a look, you can see that there's a volcano right there. And you know which one that is?
Tell me.
Oh, come on.
No,
you can guess.
I don't want to tell you. You tell me.
Okay, well, that was Mount Vesuvius.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, already. So we passed that, and
But it's still active, that one.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
yeah. Well, we're going to get back there later on in this trip. But we're kind of shortening this up because it took us most of the day to get down here. And
Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. Isn't that beautiful?
We're going down to Sorrento, and it's just absolutely incredible. I didn't want to fall off the bus, but
but Marv, doesn't this
way down?
Doesn't this tell you something really about bus travel? People think about, going on a bus. If you were on a train, you would skirt so much of this. If you were on a plane, you wouldn't. You wouldn't see it.
Right.
So bus travel has so many advantages. So you people don't be afraid to go on a tour. It is the way to see things.
Oh, it really is. No, it really is. There were several small towns that we're going to go through here, and the road is rather narrow. And I think we hit this. If I'm not mistaken, I think we hit this on a weekend, and there was a lot of traffic coming and going, as you can see. But they were very wise. They made some one-way streets in some of these villages, as that we can see here. We stayed at a nice little hotel, and the next morning we're going to take a couple of boat rides, and so we're going down where the harbor is. As we look back up, we can see some of these beautiful, magnificent buildings that are up there. So I just thought this was just so exquisite. It really was nice. And we're going to go, we won't do it on this program, but we're going to go to the Blue Grotto later on. But anyway, we've got to introduce you to Roberto.
This is Spagnolo. Come vai? How are you? The answer is bene.
Bene.
Grazie.
Grazie.
If you feel in good mood. If you feel in bad mood, just say. So please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Roberto. And please memorize this ugly face. It's going to be your helping point today, because we are going to Capri. Without accent in the end. More romance is Italian. Capri.
Well, he's right. We were going to go to Capri. Betty, you really thought he was a cutie, right?
Oh, yeah. And he was so personable and so kind, really. I loved him.
We had to, actually on this trip, we're going to take 3 different boats. We're going to leave Sorrento and go to the island of Capri. And, I don't care too much for boats. That's why I didn't take too many pictures of them
here. Boats and birds.
There are some really neat boats over there, let me tell you.
Tell me, I know that. They are just wonderful. It's exciting. Marv, you can sail your boat over there to Capri.
Yeah, fat chance of that.
I don't think it'd make it, but you could sail it.
It might make it, but I don't think I would. Yeah. I don't know. This was beautiful, though. It really was nice. We were on a rather large boat, which we're on right now, and taking several passengers over to Capri.
Remember the song? I mean, you always it was on the Isle of Capri that I met her. Remember that?
Yeah.
So this kind of went through my mind all the time. That oh, I'm here where he met her. Not really, but it's
No,
romantic. It's really romantic.
You were mentioning different ways to go. You can also go, I guess, by tour ship too.
Yeah, but you don't see much when you go by a tour ship.
You have to take all those little extra.
Yeah,
you pay the extra
it
money,
costs you a few
extra
bucks extra to do something like that.
Now, there's a couple of dollars in this
your
marina.
money. There
huh?
you go with that marina.
Yeah.
Look
Wow.
at them. Aren't they something?
Oh, wouldn't you like to have the money just
No,
that's
I
invested
don't.
in that?
No, well, I'd like to have the money, but
Yeah, that's what
I
I
wouldn't
mean.
want to be on. I don't like those kind of little ones. They scare me.
Really?
No,
You're a good
I'm not
swimmer,
gonna-
aren't you?
I don't know. I don't want to find out either. No, I used to swim a lot, but I haven't. No,
Well-
I don't want to even try it. Thank you.
Of course, we are in Italy, and we should mention that the Romans have been here for centuries, and this has been a very wonderful, big vacation area, not only for the Romans, but also for a lot of other Europeans, and of course, some of us from way across the other side of the ocean. There are now putting fuel in the little boats because we're going to get off of a big boat and we're going to get into a littler boat, and then we're going to tow some boats, at least another boat behind us, because the area that we're going into, and again, we're not going to do it, we'll show you on the next adventure, but not on this one because we don't have enough time, but we're going to go to what is known as the Blue Grotto.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to expect.
Oh,
You've been there
was-
before, right?
Yeah. No, never made it.
You
never.
hadn't?
No, because it has to be at a certain time. But I was laughing when the gals were getting on the boat there. I was looking at Dorothy particularly. She looked like she was scared, like she was going to, Betty, stop. I want to get off, But she had a great time. But it tickled me to see her.
Well, actually, the boats that we're finally going to get in.
That's not Dorothy. That was Eleanor.
Oh, okay.
Excuse
the boats
me.
that we're finally going, you can see now, it got a little bit rough as we got away
Yes,
from the shore. And we're going to listen to Roberto a little bit as he explains some of this.
The island that we have at our left hand side. Okay? The place where we just landed is called Marina Grande. Marina Grande. Means big marina. It's the only harbor that Capri has. For this you already know. Just in case you get lost, but don't worry, I never lost anyone. Just in case, Marina Grande, 3 o'clock, number 0. Today are private resorts if you're part of these villas. For example, the white houses, the white villas that you see at our left-hand side are private villas or better the second houses of, in Italy, famous people. I mean, the white one that you see right there, the first one, the owner is Luca di Montezemolo. Luca di Montezemolo, I think that maybe you should sympathize with Ferrari. Do you know Ferrari? The cars.
Well, next week we're going to come back to this exciting place. But Betty, you've got some tours coming up. People are interested. They should give you a call at
488-7443.
And Betty will be happy to send you a brochure or information on any of our trips that are coming up right away. Hey, that's just about all the time that we have. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.